Civic elections are just days away. On Saturday, many will go to the polls to cast their ballots. And one issue that is always top of mind is government spending. A new report says municipal spending is up across the board. Dana Hutchings is here now with more in Checkpoint.
Stacey, it's a fiscal fine balance for municipalities, maintaining services, keeping tax levels down and generating revenue. Well, the Canadian Federation of Independent Business has released a report comparing population growth to municipal operating spending per capita from 2000 to 2009. Here's a look at how some of the cities on the island look. Victoria's population grew by 8%, but municipal spending grew by 30%. Langford had a higher than normal population growth of 38%, but spending grew by 88%. You can see the numbers right up the island. Nanaimo's population grew by 13% and operating spending grew by 20%.
What we need to do is have councils taking a much harder look at where that money is going and whether or not those expenditures are absolutely necessary and the best value that's being delivered for the programs they're paying for.
Now, as an example of how spending has become an election issue, in Victoria, mayoral candidate Paul Brown wants to cut the city's communications department, saying the 4 full-time, 1 part-time and 2 temporary employees are a drain on taxpayers. He wants to make it a one-person information office. Mayor Dean Fortin says that would change the openness of government.
I believe that the office adds expense to the city's books that really isn't necessary. One of the reasons I want to eliminate the communications office is the emphasis that the city has on protecting information, withholding information, and I guess spinning the information before it goes out to the public. I would like to eliminate that office.
The City of Victoria, under the last 3 years, we have been the most open that this city has ever been. And it's all been about communicating with our public. I think it's important that we have the ability to communicate, to have a two-way street, to engage with our public. You know, I find it strange that someone who wants to be open and accountable, that the first thing they do is stop talking to the public.
You've got the senior communications person making 142 plus expenses, $1,000 a year. What kind of message is that?
Well, I think it's sending the wrong message right now. We're in times where the economy is not strong. The city's books are not good. I mean, we are in tough financially. And we need to set an example for all city staff. When I look at that salary, it's comparable to a junior deputy minister or a very senior assistant deputy minister. And this person certainly does not have that level of responsibility. It sends the wrong message. It's unnecessary.
But is it fiscally responsible to have 6, 7, 8 people on staff? Saanich has none, Nanaimo has none. Is it fiscally responsible?
Well, you have to go back and take a look behind the numbers. What we've done is we've said, okay, can we bring in-house? So we do posters, we do signs, we do our community connects. Do you just contract that out? Is that what other cities do? Do you have all your communications buried in each and every department? Or can you bring them together and make them more efficient? So what you really want to say is, what's the job that these people do? Do you still want to keep doing that job? And you know what? I think it's important that we continue to talk to our citizens, that we continue to let our citizens talk to their council.
And our Checkpoint question tonight, where do you think your municipal council can cut spending? You can tweet us at check_news, on Facebook at facebook.com/checknews, or email checkpoint@checknews.ca. Stacey, the taxpayers are proposing a taxpayer protection bylaw. It would hold tax increase to the rate of inflation. Under this plan, if municipalities don't comply, the mayor and council will take a 15% pay cut. And our Checkpoint question tonight, where do you think your municipal council can cut spending? Here are some of your responses.
I say amalgamate. Yeah? Just enough of this stuff about paying all these different mayors and paying all the different police forces. I mean, it's just gone off the wall for this.
Stop wasting money on foolish projects. Shelburne is a very fine example of unnecessary waste of taxpayer dollars. It took them 3 months to play with those little pieces of in and outs.
I guess the $250,000 study that they're doing for the deer problem sounds like a bit of a waste of money to me.
I think that they should examine the amount of money that they're spending on executive salaries and determine whether they can get more bang for their buck out of their public servants.
Well, you got to pay people to get good people. It simply doesn't work, right? It's no different than the David Hahn. There's lots of guys in the world who make good money to do a good job, so I'm not obviously that bothered by it.
From Facebook, Mike says, cut the administration. Too much money evaporates inside City Hall in between being taxed out of our wallets and coming back into our community. Brent says quit bending and catering to the minority and going to referendum when they whine and complain about things like bridges being built. The elected body is given a mandate to govern. Let them. From email, Paul says municipalities have very little revenue sources compared to the federal or provincial level. We need the federal government in particular to provide more revenue to municipalities. Cutting services is not the answer. And we'll find out how big an issue spending is for voters when we go to the polls on Saturday. That's tonight's Checkpoint.